The views and opinions expressed on this station do not reflect the owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Wednesday, the 16th day of December, 2020. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman, along with Carl Azul. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. If you haven't already, share the link, start a watch party, retweet it. Just get the conversation out there to your network. Another good one today, as we have entrepreneur and fashionpreneur, not sure if that's a word, Joleesa Holdipp from Klassiq Kidz Boutique stopping by. The Daily Plate is a read it, don't sing it. We're going to be giving away a little special something today as well, based on the responses yesterday. And then we'll ask another question for tomorrow's winner. So you all make sure, if you don't already, let me give it to you at the start of the show, because folks are going to be acting brand new. And Carlo, for some reason, remembers the number. I don't. But the WhatsApp number for this show is 441 517 0096. All right. So 441 517 0096. Let me emphasize this for everyone as well. We do love you. We really do. The show is live 8 a.m. Bermuda time through 9 a.m. Bermuda time. So if you don't watch us live and we put out the question, you probably lost the opportunity to enter if you're responding late in the evening. All right. So make sure, what we want to do is make sure that we don't want to exclude anyone, but get your answers in as soon as possible so we can get you ready for the draw the next day. All right. So that said, Carla, we have a lot to discuss. But let's start with, did you see that the new governor was sworn in yesterday?
Yes, I did.
Thoughts?
I was excited when it was first announced. I was like, a lady, of course, a Black lady, but then having some people talk to me, looking at it in reflection, and all that's been happening, not only in Bermuda, but in the world, especially since George Floyd, was a Black woman sent to the UK, sent to Bermuda for the aesthetics of it.
Well, I mean, I just remember the comical Black Girl Magic post, and they've magically disappeared. And I guess people were brought back to reality in terms of what this means and what it doesn't mean. So interesting that, she's now here, and I don't see the Black Girl Magic choir singing that song right now. I think, and I want to be very clear with this here, I think people get so lost in what they want to value that they don't know what progress is anymore. And what I mean by that is they want to be conservative or want to be liberal. And it takes them away from, what is actually progress. Because, I saw the choir singing Black Girl Magic. And I'm just like, well, what is there to truly celebrate? If because this is a Black woman, I mean, do you even know what this person's ideals are? Or does that not matter? It fascinates me. And I think people from that perspective really need to stop jumping on these bandwagons because of optics. Yeah. It's strange to me. But go ahead.
In one of my chats that I'm in, someone brought up an interesting point, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, when I initially saw, is it Miss Lang? I'm sorry for not remembering her name. When I initially saw her picture,
Hmm.
she had natural, she had natural hair, but yet at the signing, her hair is straight. And they said, "Do you think that she was forced to straighten her hair because of the aesthetic?" And I was like, I would hope in 2020, like that wouldn't be the case. And then I started to say, well, maybe they felt it. She felt it would be more dignitary, but then it's like, hold on. So it's invoking a lot of interesting conversations that some of us may not have even thought about before. So I'll be observing.
Um, yeah, okay. Um, I really have heard a lot of reasons why she's been appointed to Bermuda. I don't want to, speculate. Obviously, Bermudians will have their, uh, their own perspectives and thoughts on it. It looks like she has a great history in treasury, finance, understanding of those kinds of things. Maybe she was brought to Bermuda or appointed in Bermuda for those reasons. Not too sure, but she's here. She's in Bermuda now, and I think that um, it'll be interesting to see what the relationship between the governor, the government, and the people looks like going forward, and if the majority of Bermudians do support an independent Bermuda, what it actually looks like going forward. So, Teresa Stewart says, we're still operating on a temporary constitution. The monarch are trying to appease us as a country. It's a good look for her. However, we still have real changes to make. Shay Renee says it is okay for people to reflect and change their position, thoughts, and feelings. And Jen Powell says all skin folk isn't kinfolk. I know people like to see people that look like them, but she still represents colonialism. I don't. I've been over that, and I agree with Jan Pell. There is so many people that love to see a black face, or what they're calling now is representation. Representation matters. Um, Representation is more than what a person looks like. It's their ideals for me. She still represents the crown, and that's not to say. Look, I'm not here criticizing anyone who wants to champion her for what she's doing or is okay with the crown. I have no problems with that. Even when I was fighting conscription, you never saw me critique um, the UK and Britain or the crown because this was a Bermudian government that had the opportunity to remove it. So this is not about that. It's just about it's weird to me how on one day a group of people can champion one thing and then the next day their whole ideals seem to champion another. So it's weird. It's definitely weird to me. Um, Carla, the other thing I want to touch on, don't forget we have Joleesa Holdipp coming on. The other thing I wanted to touch on is last week we didn't discuss it, but there was a child porn sentencing. Um, a gentleman was sentenced in Bermuda. I think he was from. Let me see.
China or something.
It was an Asian country. I have it up here. Um, I mean, his name's in the paper. I don't want to repeat it, but he was from overseas, and it looks like Judge Atteridge accepted that he had good character, and he had videos as far back in 2014. As a parent, how does this? How do you look at something like this?
I'm sick. I I do not, I have boys and a girl. So, and I'm saying this because I know sometimes people feel uncomfortable with their children from the opposite sex. I look at my children, I see nothing sexual. I do not understand how people can look at explicit images of children, whether they're theirs or not, and find joy in that.
Mhm.
Um, and I did read the article. It's a couple of weeks ago. I think he just seemed so trite. He didn't say anything. I mean, what can you say? But usually people are emphatic in denying or having a reason, and he said nothing. And to me, saying nothing says a lot. It just made me sick to my stomach.
Forgive me because I read it and was so disgusted and literally tried to forget it all. But tell me if I'm wrong, audience. Did I read something in that story where it said oh, he was lonely being away from his family. Did I read that correctly? Because if I did, that is being away from your loved ones and your family is no excuse to break the law in such a heinous and disgusting way. It's crazy to me. It's sick. And so everyone who is upset about this, to me, has every right to be. My hope is that this is one of those things that is appealed, and they take another look at it. I want to move on to the top story or the headline on the top of the newspaper today. It says Trump fans plan victory cruise to Bermuda. Now, look, I have to bring this up to you because I need to ask the Bermudian people who know how much tourism means to the economy of Bermuda. I know we went through this with, was it Rosie O'Donnell, right? We went through this with Rosie O'Donnell where people were marching. I want to ask the Bermudian people, we understand, we've had these conversations. We know tourism is going to be a slow, long
rebuild
road to recovery. It's going to take a long time to recover, right? However, are you willing to put aside your personal feelings and accept a victory cruise or visitors from the outgoing president of the United States? That's a question for everyone.
Some people may say money is money. There may be masses of Trump supporters in the island's midst already. Do you reject them when they go to eat at a restaurant, for example? Is it because it's labeled as a Trump supporters cruise? With Rosie O'Donnell, I think it's a bit different because so many people are homophobic, or people are homophobic. I wouldn't say so many, but I don't know. Some would say, well, bring those dollars. We'll take the dollars, go back where you came from, and let's have their money because they have lots of it.
So it's kind of funny. I love how it reads. The organizer of the 4-day trip runs a website called The Patriot Voice. The trip was billed as a quote for God and country victory cruise from New York to Bermuda. I don't know if you want to go on it with me, Carla, but April 17th to the 21st. You want to go?
Oh, I'm about to go look on the website. No. For two reasons. What? No, I would never want to be in the midst of people like that. And two, it's too early to cruise. No.
Okay, I can accept too early to cruise. But I mean, I would love to see, I mean, if this were to happen, as I look at this story, and I know we've got people saying they don't read that, but look, you have to go where you don't want to go sometimes to learn it, be informed beyond the headline. But I just find it interesting that people would be opposed to something like this, because it's one of those things where if let's say something based on a headline, it did happen this way. It's one of those things where what you don't know, you just don't know. You feel me? Like we don't know the amount of people that support us that we probably don't even like. I said this on Twitter last week. I said, so many people are, we basically get so much support from people and don't even really know who's in the background supporting us. That's real. So for me, as long as they follow the laws of the land, then I honestly don't see the point in rejecting or marching or any of that stuff. But that's just me. Let me be clear. If that's how other people feel, that's on them. But I don't
think it's grounds. I don't, because I prefer to know who you are, and I can make a choice if I want you in my midst. So if you're coming, it's not for me to stop you. But if you have on a big Trump supporter shirt, for example, they got them all embroidered for the trip, I may not want to be in their midst. But then old Trump supporters aren't bad people either, If they've got shirts on saying like kill Blackie, that's different. But if they're a Trump supporter, I mean, we don't know who's Trump supporters who people who on the opposite end who we may really like and may feel differently. So
Well, you said a few things there. I mean, for one, I love to know how people think. That's why I appreciate Donald Trump as president more than probably anyone. He lets you know how he feels. I appreciate that. But again, somebody on vacation, I don't need to know how they think. I don't need to know their politics. I don't need to know any of that. So I disagree with you with that. I don't want to, they're here and to support the economy. Now, if they get in our face and start chanting down our throats about their politics, that's a different story. But at the end, even if they're wearing a shirt, okay, you know who they are. But if they're not causing any physical, emotional harm to our well-being, are we really gonna start going back at them? I think it's time to mature past the point of our personal feelings and beliefs in terms of where people stand. At the end of the day, I've said it before. People support Donald Trump as president for different reasons. Some people support him for his business acumen, but don't agree with him with the stuff he says that may be off cuff, like the inciting and all that. There are people that just don't like the other side. I don't know, but what I do will say is that Bermuda traditionally has marketed towards that audience. I mean, we don't have to look far back to see that some of the most prominent visitors to Bermuda were people like Bill O'Reilly, who was probably almost the voice of the Republican Party at one point on his show that he had on Fox. So I don't know. It's if we don't know who we're saying good morning, welcome to Bermuda to, does it really impact our life anyway, outside of helping the economy? That's where I'm at with it. But again, to each their own. Obviously, people feel certain ways about politics and Trump. We're going to go to the news. We have a big conversation coming up with Joleesa Holdipp. I looked at their Instagram and I was just like, man, they actually have some cool children's clothing. I mean, I'm gonna take the short jokes away from you all. Yes, I am too big to get into clothes, right? But no, I just felt a short joke coming in. Carla hasn't thrown one my way in a couple months, so I was just like taking it away from her before she even started and went there. But we're gonna have Joleesa coming up with some a good conversation, because I love what she's doing. I'm sure you all will too. After Carla gives us a quick news break and we pay some bills.
The homes of two police officers have been searched in a probe into the circulation of a document that detailed aspects of Commissioner of Police Stephen Corbishley's private life, the Royal Gazette has revealed. It is understood that the searches were made after copies of a court document were distributed among members of the police service. It is believed officers seized phones and other electronic equipment in last Friday's raids. A police spokesman saying a court warrant was executed at the homes of two police officers in relation to an ongoing investigation. But he added, due to the sensitive nature of the investigation, no further information will be provided at this time. An affidavit prepared by Deborah Corbishley, the commissioner's estranged wife, was filed with the Supreme Court earlier this year. A copy of the document was emailed to police officers last week. Turning to international news, China's aviation regulator has recommended cabin crew wear disposable diapers and avoid using the toilet to cut the risk of COVID-19 infection. The advice on diapers is in a section on personal protective equipment in new guidelines for airlines. The regulator said the recommendation applied to charter flights to high-risk COVID-19 destinations. Globally, airlines and airports have been making big changes on how they operate to get passengers flying again. The Civil Aviation Administration of China laid out its advice in a new 49-page set of guidelines for airlines to prevent the spread of coronavirus. The recommendation on diapers applies to charter flights to and from places where infections exceed 500 in every 1 million people. They say all good things come to an end. Thankfully, this remains true for horrid atrocities as well. One such ending took place in 1991 with the ending of apartheid, a system of racial segregation that existed in South Africa on the back of legislation introduced by the National Party. The Day of Reconciliation was introduced in 1994 as a way to heal the rift between people of South Africa and bring harmony to a nation still suffering from decades of injustice. There is no denying that this is one of the most significant and important dates in history. It is a day whereby we remember the past history of the country. There are a number of festivities that take place on this date, as well as marching as recognizing the contributions of veterans. Celebrating the Day of Reconciliation involves a deep look at our lives and the world we live in. Take some time to educate yourself on colonialism and how it has affected and still affects people who have suffered under it. Also, take some time on this day to learn more about the history of South Africa. Turning to weather with sunny breaks and a chance of rain, Bermuda's high temperature today is expected to reach 70, while Washington, D.C. will see a high of 39, and Kingston, Jamaica will see a high of 85. Don't forget to tune in to the full100radio.com tonight for nighttime jams featuring some of your favorite romantic classics. That's your Daily Hour news break.
All righty, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with our guest for the day, Joleesa Holdipp from Klassiq Kidz Boutique. Stick with us.
Good day, Medical House Store speaking. Can I help you?
Medical House is Bermuda's leading one-stop shop for healthcare.
I found myself being a caregiver. Even though I was a nurse, I still needed help on, what was available in hospital beds and all that kind of equipment, and I knew where to go. I went to Medical House.
Bermuda's top doctors, dentists, care homes, and the hospital choose Medical House for a wide range of products. These same professional quality products are available to you for home health care.
So I was very pleased with Medical House and the help they gave me when I most needed it.
Your experience with Medical House is about getting your needs met, but we also try to provide knowledge to help you through whatever you're experiencing.
Medical House is on Millreach Lane in Pembroke, where there's private parking right outside the door.
I would recommend them to anybody.
Call or visit Medical House today.
John Barrett & Son, Bermuda's premier beverage distributor, is bringing on the joyful festivities this Christmas with Barrett Stone Ginger Beer, diet and original. We've often championed this quintessentially Bermudian drink. It's refreshing and spicy and is becoming a traditional ingredient in the kitchen. Google cooking with ginger beer and you'll be impressed by the diversity and wow factor of the recipes. As our good friend Bruce Barrett says, bubbly, tasty, full of spice, refreshing and exciting. When it hits your taste buds, mate, full flavor is igniting. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
All right, welcome back to the big show. Carl Azul there, Jamel Hartman. That is who I am. It's the Daily Hour. Thanks again to Medical House Lindo's, Crimson Multimedia over there on Channel 82, where you can also watch the show live as well as in the evening at 6 p.m. in Bermuda. Thanks again to everyone who continues to watch on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch as well. Without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the day, Joleesa Holdipp from Klassiq Kidz Boutique. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, everyone, and Jamel and Carla.
Thank you for doing this with us. I'm sorry about Carla's behavior earlier. She just, she had this short joke she was about to make about me not being able to fit in the clothes and so on. And so I just beat her to the punch. But honestly, I ran on the Instagram, right? And I was just like, man, like children dress like the fashion is, I don't remember, either the fashion wasn't that good when we were young or our parents just did us an injustice. What was it?
I find a lot of my customers say that, I wish I had this when we were younger. I think that they did, but fashion has just changed. Does that make sense? I think it was as fashionable when we were younger, but we just don't think that now.
And before my mama or anybody from my family jumps on, my mama used to make a lot of my sister and I's clothes and order out of those books. So I'm not saying you were bad at fashion. I just want to make that clear before anybody jumps on my joke. But let's talk about the boutique. Speak to us a bit about Klassiq Kidz Boutique, how it came about, and what void are you filling currently in Bermuda?
So I started Klassiq Kidz 5 years ago. I honestly it wasn't really a passion of mine. My mom always talked about opening up a kids store when I was younger, but when I started, it was honestly just for some extra cash. I was still working full time at the time, and I just was popping to different locations over the island, closing the back of my car, containers, pop-up tent, and table. Barnes Corner, Parsons Road, Robert Tree. And the first few weeks, I'm like, okay, I think I could do this all the time. And after that was like November 2014. Yeah, 2014. And January the following year, my cousin said, "Oh, it's a spot up." She put a spot. She told me it was a spot available for rent. I should move my pop up to a store, and I wasn't interested at all. Um, Me and my mom went to see the spot, and my mom's like, "Do it," and I just still wasn't interested. But after maybe about a week, she convinced me, and we opened in March 2015. So I started to open Thursday and Friday evenings and Saturdays because I was still working full time. And then after 2 years, after 2 years, um, I left my job of 10 years and I opened full time.
Well, you mentioned you had full-time employment and you left to run your business full-time, but that seems a bit risky. Speak to us about the journey so far and what that risk is like, because it's an old saying, no risk, no reward. But speak to us about the journey and the risk of doing that.
It was definitely a leap of faith that I took. I felt myself I kept saying, "Oh, let me save up more money first. Let me save up more money. Let me save up more money." And I wasn't saving up more money. I literally woke up one day and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give you my notice today. It was no thought about it, like right. I mean, eventually I knew this is what I wanted, but I think it was like May 1st. I had to give a month notice. So yeah, I think it was like May 1st. I'm like, you know what? I'm finishing this month. I want to do this full time now. I spoke with my parents first because if my store didn't work out, they have to be there for me, and they were all for it. So they told me go ahead.
Wow. I mean, wow. I love it. Honestly, I love it. We have so many people with similar stories that come on this show, and it's just inspiring when people know what they want to do and they're ready to work hard. When they're passionate about it, they go for it, and it's working out for them. It's amazing and it's inspiring, and hopefully more people, including myself, have the desire and the courage to do the same. If so many businesses, small businesses mainly, negatively impacted by the pandemic driven recession, how have you been able to remain relevant and top of mind with potential customers? I know you launched a website, but talk to us about it.
Yeah, so last year, June 2019, I launched a website. So it's like could have been like late June, early July, right before Cup match. And I felt like it's something that Bermudians wanted. Everyone asked you should have a website. And then when I launched the website, people were still coming in store, saying, "Oh, I saw this on the website to purchase it in store." But I kept putting out there like, "Hey, you could really purchase this off the website. I could deliver it to you, or you could click in store pickup." So that was in June, and maybe it still didn't go. So I wasn't even putting as much items on there because people wasn't ordering off the website. They were basically using the website to go to see what I had in store and then coming in store. So once March hit, I want to say like that first week, I was like, I wasn't comfortable at work, so I closed the retail store. So I was putting the things that I did have and coming for spring online, and I was doing deliveries while we were able to before we got locked down. And during the lockdown, I think when the shipping companies opened back up, I was receiving calls. So I'm like, oh, do I put these online? Because I don't know when I'm going to be able to deliver them to folks because we're locked down. But as I was putting them online, I felt like a lot of locals still wanted to support small businesses because the fact that we weren't open and making any money at the moment. So as I was putting items online, I was still getting orders and orders and orders. And I was definitely grateful for them. So then when we opened up after the lockdown, I was able to deliver those orders. And to be honest, since we opened in, what was that, May, I believe? Could have been early. late April, early May, I have been busy nonstop since then.
Now, talking about you're busy nonstop because you've now moved into a larger location, right?
Yes.
So many people either lost their businesses altogether or are struggling to maintain their businesses through the pandemic. But you actually grew. How does that make you feel?
Grateful, but at the same time nervous because I just feel like we're still kind of in this early. Well, we're going back right now to the stages from where we kind of started at after I moved into a larger location. So now I'm like, did I make the right choice? But what's January and February, which is usually slow months for retail anyway, gonna look like for me?
But so you talked about when you left your job and you said nothing really triggered it. You just said you were ready. You joked about if your parents having to step up if you fell short, but take us back to the day that was your last day at work and your first full day of doing this all on your own. Were you afraid?
I wasn't after. I was afraid to hand in my notice. Yes, I was. And actually, when I handed in my notice, I had like a 2-week vacation. I was going on a cruise in 2 weeks. So actually, 2 weeks that month, I wouldn't know. It was maybe a week and a half. I had a vacation. So that month that I had left at work, it was just about maybe 3 weeks actually. And after I gave in my notice, I honestly wasn't nervous after that. I even went back to work for the company maybe about 2 weeks in July when someone was on vacation, but I wasn't nervous after that. I wasn't.
Now you have your daughter Cree, who seems to be getting that entrepreneurial spirit from her mom. How important is it for you, for her to see you doing this, and what do you hope that she will take out of it?
So Cree right now, she says she wants to be an entrepreneur also. She's not sure what business she wants to start, but I just I shouldn't say I don't discourage her from being an entrepreneur, but I would like her to I feel like she's saying this because I am one. She knows that it's not easy. She sees the struggles. Can you repeat the last end of the question again, Carla?
No, I was just saying, what do you want her to take out of? No, it's okay.
Okay.
You're just saying, what do you want her? I mean, because I just think, like, when I look at Jamal mentioned your Instagram, and I look at the pictures and I see her and I see how she's sometimes your model, that's got to do something for her. Like, you inspire her. How do you feel that you do that, regardless of what little fears you may have?
To be honest, when Cree has to model and do things for Klassiq Kidz, she is uninterested. As much as happy as she might look in the photos and videos, she is not interested. So as school comes out today, I told her she has to come work for the rest of the holiday until Christmas. She's not interested. So I don't know. I'm not sure because she's really not interested in Klassiq Kidz, unfortunately.
So that means typical daughter, typical child. But yeah. You also, I remember you have, I don't know if you still carry them, but you had these girl boxes that you used to, or still do, where people subscribe to them. Tell us the innovation behind girl boxes and why are they so, what role did they play in young girl or young ladies' lives? What were in the boxes and what was
So the boxes started as a bi-monthly subscription box where you paid $44.95 for a box of girly things. Me personally, I love girly things. I love stores like Claire's and Justice. So I just knew that it would be something awesome to do in the market. We didn't do it this year because I had to pick between moving and girl boxes, and the girl boxes is a lot of work. So I knew I couldn't do both. And then we also changed it from bi-monthly to quarterly. So you will get you pay $44.95 for the box, and the value of the items in the box will be between like $60 and $70. Um, it could be anything from a handbag, purse, lip glosses. We've even had T-shirts in there one time. During back to school time, we do like a lot of maybe this year we done like a backpack. Remember something used for like a gym bag, like a smaller style backpack.
So, Joleesa, you were very involved with the kids. I'm calling it kidpreneur section of EDC, where was it 2 years ago when you had the market for young people?
Yeah.
Were you the innovator behind that, and what made it come to life?
Yes. No. So Cree at one point was interested, but what really made it come to life, Azari Jones. This was, I want to say, I think we've had it twice or three times. So we didn't do it this year because of COVID. Not sure. Hopefully it could take off. But Azari Jones, I found her on Facebook, and my daughter was into American Girl dolls at the time, and Azari was making American Girl doll clothing, and I'm like, you know what, this is awesome. And then at that time, Cree wanted to make bracelets, and I'm like, maybe. And then it was another child I met was making slime. I'm like, it would be an awesome idea to encourage these kids to sell their product and services at a vendor event. And yeah, I was the innovator behind this. But it was just amazing to see what kids came up with. We've had someone who has like a dog walking service, lemonade. Someone the last year had like room decor, room organization service.
How do you feel when you see these young people that, because I mean, most people, they don't even think about becoming an entrepreneur until an adult. What does it feel like to see such creative young people? What do you think that they can make out of that?
It's awesome. I continue to eventually, actually, in my store location, in this bigger location, I have plans to allow some of the kids who have previously had vendor spaces at the Kidpreneur event to come in maybe on a Saturday and sell their items. But I think it's awesome. I love to see it.
We actually play a commercial on this show by One Communications, and you're in that commercial. And
yes,
a lot of connections here. But also, I wanted to touch on Nachika Trott's comment here. She says, I had the pleasure of visiting this store yesterday. Great customer service, and I'm thankful for her willingness to assist me in making a donation to, I believe that's Big Brothers Big Sisters of Bermuda. And we just had Patrina on from Big Brothers Big Sisters of Bermuda. So I just love the way things come together with our guests on this show. But
thank you for coming.
There you go. But that's my how does it make you feel when we look through these comments, and obviously this show exists, so you see Ms. Trott here actually saying, she appreciated not just the purchase, but also the customer service. Because when it comes to entrepreneurship, people just think, oh, it's about, making a money or making a living, not understanding that there are so many other components, like simple things like good customer service. Had you, other than just wanting to sell clothes and be into fashion, had you ever done any courses? Was journalism, I'm saying journalism, was entrepreneurship in your blood? Was it something that was passed on? Like, were your parents entrepreneurs, grandparents?
No, no, I don't know anyone in my family before me that, not actually. My nana was an entrepreneur. She did have her own store. I can't remember where it was. This is my dad's mom. But she was an entrepreneur. But when it comes to customer service, I just think it's just me, basically. It's not anything that I try to, like, how can I put it? It's me generally being me, I believe, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's it, just being yourself. And I want to go back to you saying, pretty much that no problem. You're one of the first that has been an entrepreneur in your family. And there's a lot of talk. I don't know if you're active on Twitter because you seem too busy for that, but people talk about generational wealth and breaking generational curses all the time. And that's something that you should be proud of in terms of if you are one of the first entrepreneurs on this level in your family. That's huge. And I think what Carla asked you just now about younger people, what you started doing with, I think you mentioned kidspreneur, Carla. But that stuff is, you know what? I'm not just gonna hold on to this for myself and my daughter, but I'm gonna help other young children express themselves. And I wrote down here as I'm listening to you that just listening to you, I don't know if you realize what you're doing, but you've literally, by doing what you're doing, with what Nachika Trot said just now, with coming to your store to assist with Big Brothers Big Sisters, with you doing the kidspreneur thing, with you leaving your full-time job to create this and fill up what you thought was a void and a need in Bermuda, you have created opportunities for people, and I hope you understand that. And it's not necessarily trying to put a responsibility on your back, but it's awesome. And I hope you realize that, you are doing something amazing. And if, there's anything that, we can do to support, we're more than happy to do that. I saw people in the audience asking where you're located and so on, but just give people, especially some of the audience who may not be familiar with Instagram, even in 2020, yes, we have those. What are some of the things that they can find in your location?
So we have kids clothing from 9 months to 14 years. We have a few junior sizes for girls also. We have lots of underclothes, not much pajamas at the moment. We also carry lots of girly accessories. We are located 53 Court Street. So it's like right before Paradise Games. Most people are familiar with that is. I namely use that as a trademark.
And let's talk about that, because that's a conversation we can't avoid. And let me retract something I said, because the audience has to keep me on my toes. We don't say generational curses. We don't say curses. We say trauma. So thank you for that, trauma. But your business is on Court Street.
Yes.
People have always looked down on our area. Yes, our area. In a manner of it's places we don't visit. Right. How are we breaking that whole idea that this is not a place to shop? How are we changing that mindset among potential customers?
I feel like it's still something I'm currently trying to do. There are still lots of people that say they don't like to come to this area, but don't be discouraged because we can deliver to you also. But I think in due time, the area itself, we're trying to do things together to change the mindset of that.
Absolutely. And I think, I saw someone mention you being across from Dub City, spending a lot of time buying my reggae CDs from Dub City back in the day. But Court Street is one of those places. It reminds me of when I lived in Brooklyn. And it's a cultural capital of Bermuda when it comes to food, when it comes to clothing, it's just, to me, it's an ideal cultural capital that I don't think people truly have appreciated today. And I think having an establishment like you, I'm going to say an iconic establishment like yours on Court Street, I hope that we can change that mindset and get people to come down there for a shopping Saturday like they would other places.
Yeah. And I like how you put that cultural capital.
Indeed.
Which leads me to, because you talked about your fear earlier, just in the context of these times, but let's be for real, Bermudians are usually creatures of habit. And there are other children's shops that probably everyone as a first thought goes to, even based on location. How do you feel that you are able to pull traffic and because your stuff is the bomb. Like, I'm like, gosh, I wish I had little children again so I can shop there. How do you feel that you are making a dent in that market? That's got to be an awesome feeling for you.
I'm grateful. What I do try to do, I try to keep it more. I mean, there are other clothing stores locally, right? So I just try to keep Klassiq Kidz more. I'm not trying to say fashionable, but it's not your average. That's what I want it to be, basically.
So it's like if you see a young child walking down the street dressed really nice, people, yeah, that's Klassiq Kidz.
That's what I hope.
Yeah, yeah, that's the aim, and I think you're onto something here. And again, we couldn't be happier for you. If there's someone out there, um, I'm not going to call any names or even put a mirror in front of me, but if there's someone out there who may have a full-time job and they have something that they really want to do, and it's going to take them to be full-time doing it and just go entrepreneurship all the way, what advice would you give them in a time like this? Would you tell them go for it, or would you say, you know what, based on my experience, hold off and wait for the right time? Or is there even a right time?
When you say a time like this, do you mean like during a pandemic?
Correct.
Truthfully, I'd say follow your heart. I mean, I feel like I took a risk also now, going into a larger location at a time like this. I also feel like when the time is right, you know when it's right. Like as I said in the beginning, I kept putting it off. Like, oh, let me save more money. But I just also feel, oh, if you think that your product or service, if you have confidence that your product or service will work, I just say you'd know when the time is right.
Got it. Makes sense to me. Joleesa Holdipp from Klassiq Kidz Boutique. What is it? 53 Court Street? 53
Court Street, yes.
53 Court Street, right next to Paradise Games, across from Dub City area.
Yeah, it's not really. It's more so we're across from Dub City, so that our location is more across from Dub City. So we're closer to like across from Connections now.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Down a little toward.
Down a little farther. Yeah, it's like the next building over from where we were.
Okay. Got you. Oh, Joleesa, thank you so much for having this conversation.
Thank you guys for having me.
No problem. Engaging with our audience. And let's hope that one of the things that you said that really stands out, and it's across so many industries, is after the holidays, most businesses pretty much go quiet. No one's shopping, no one's spending money. Let's hope that people find the needs to support you after the holidays and just keep helping you grow.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
All righty, you too.
Take care.
Love it. Joleesa Holdipp, she is Klassiq Kidz Boutique. Follow them on Instagram as well. Like, just looking at some of the posts will make you smile, folks. It's some really, really cool stuff. I know Carla.
She works hard. Like,
yeah, I feel it. I feel it in her. I really do. Carla, we're going to take a break. Don't forget, we're giving away some more stuff today. We're going to give away some stuff. Actually, hold on. Got a box donated to me right here. So this box. So let's show you all. I'm going to pull one name. This. So some of the name, I'll just read. This is not you know what? It's real names on here, right? It's people that played yesterday that sent the answer. So we're going to give away, you know what? Let's give away yesterday's prize, right? So, Carla, the question for yesterday was on what day was the first episode of the Daily Hour, and who was the first guest, right?
Uh-huh.
That was yesterday. So, Carla, tell them what the answer was.
The first guest was Dexter Smith, and the editor of World Gazette, and the answer was Monday, May 4th.
Correct. So we have a bunch of people that got the right answer, and we're going to pick that person out now. And here's what they're going to win, folks. Today's winner is going to win a $50 grocery voucher to Linda's. So let me hold up. Let me put the top.
I like the box, Jamal. It's cute. Do you have an outfit to match it?
So I'm going to talk to my mother-in-law about you teasing me and her box that she donated on this, right? It's better than the sandwich bag I had it in, okay? All right, here we go. Here's today's winner of a $50 gift voucher. Let me pick. What's it say?
Evelyn Pitt.
Well, isn't she how's she going to use it? She's
She
going to
can
have.
give it to one. Her children live in Bermuda, so she can give it to one of her kids.
All right. So Evelyn Pitt is the winner of the first the first giveaway, which is a $50 voucher to Lindo's today. All right. So that's our first winner. Don't you all laughing at my bucks? You better leave me alone. All right. So today's question. Go ahead.
Before you go on, Joleesa just sent a message, and she says that for our giveaway, she'd like to add a $50 gift card from Klassiq Kidz. So there you go.
Yes, and we will definitely be hitting up on that. You all, we got the gifts coming for you this holiday, so you better stick with us. We have the gifts coming. All right. So look, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll come back with today's question, the daily play, and the inspirational thought. So we're gonna take a quick break, but stick with us. We've got another question for you. Hopefully you all do better than Carla today in the daily play.
Deck the halls with smartphone data. Fa la 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 la. Spread your holiday cheer with next one. Fa la 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 la. Free devices, phones and TVs. Fa la 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 la. Visit our website for more info. Fa la 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 la. Give some unexpected joy this season with free devices, plans that now include more data, and bundles for the whole family. Happy holidays from One Communications.
All right, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to One Communications. So let's do today's question. All right. Very easy, because look, you all don't let Carla fool you, right? She didn't even remember the date of the first episode nor the first guess, probably, right?
I knew the guess.
She probably didn't even remember. All right, so here's today's question, folks. Here's today's question. Remember, the number to WhatsApp is 441-517-0096. All right, 441-517-0096. Question. Name one person who has appeared on the Daily Hour more than once. Name one person who has appeared on the Daily Hour more than once. Text through WhatsApp your answer to 441-517-0096. All righty. What's funny?
I'm just laughing at me teasing you about the box. But I'm also laughing because one of my cousins, she said, I cannot believe you did not get that right about the 12 days of Christmas in the Daily Play yesterday. But she thought the same thing as me, that it started 12 days before Christmas. So
it's a family thing, you're saying. It's not just me. Okay, I got
clearly.
Folks, don't put the answer in here. You have to WhatsApp it. WhatsApp the answer. And well, I mean, technically can't say he's wrong. I mean, you know, he's right. But yeah, the WhatsApp the answer. The number is 517-0096.
And you have to be watching the show live. So don't be texting tonight at 9 or in another hour. It's now.
Yeah. Make sure you're doing it right now. All right. So here's the daily play which Carla's trying to run from. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Quote, people making lists, buying special gifts, taking time to be kind to one and all. End quote.
It's another blinking Christmas song. You know, I don't know this stuff. Christmas songs and nursery rhymes. Is it Let It Snow This Time? No, it's not Jingle Bells. I don't know Christmas songs, Jamal. Say it again, quick. Say it again.
Sorry. Quote, people making lists, buying special gifts, taking time to be kind to one and all. End quote.
Silent Night. Give Love. I don't even know what song. I'm thinking of This Christmas. So what's Give Love on Christmas Day? I don't know. Give love. Sing me something, Mel, quick.
I'm not singing for you today, Colin.
Just because you don't know it either.
I mean, I listen to it pretty often, but I just
How
don't want.
pathetic.
I mean, people making lists, buying special gifts.
You would
And
think, and as a dedicated, loving mama, that I would know
one
this
and all.
stuff. Never heard that song in my life. And no one sent me a Christmas album either. You lot don't understand. I don't like Christmas carols. Sorry. Like, the song don't even remotely resonate with me.
Why don't you give love on Christmas Day? On Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll have to. Daily inspiration. You ready? Stop looking at me like that. I don't like Christmas carols. You all don't understand.
Yeah, give us some. Give us the inspiration you need, Carla. I don't know anything else to say.
I promise you all, in January, I'll be better when he stops giving Christmas stories. See, exactly. He's singing the remix. I don't know what he means. So the quote, the daily motivation is, a ship in the harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. And that came from John A. Shedd.
I'm sorry. I can't get over her inability to. Yeah.
I'm honest though. I'm honest about it, you all. I don't do nursery rhymes. When my child used to sing, I mean, be colicky. You know what I used to sing to her to keep her? Secret Lovers, because it was the only song I knew from beginning to end. You know, people sing lullabies. I sang Secret Lovers. Jamal, are you frozen?
In thought,
I'm
yeah.
having a good,
In
I'm
thought,
having a good day.
yeah. Wow. Yeah. We're happy for you, Carla. We are extremely excited for you. Woo!
Sorry.
Woo. So, Carla, what do you think of today's episode? What's your final thoughts?
Well, I know Joleesa personally. I've known her for many years, and I have made love and respect for her. Anything's possible. She is an example. She started out as a pop-up, and look at her beautiful store today. So my thing is, if you believe in you, there is nothing that you cannot achieve. So I can't wait to have another godchild so I could buy him stuff from Klassiq Kidz, but ain't nothing coming out of these vessels. But
Yeah, I think she has an awesome story. And as I stated to her, I don't think she's doing what she's doing to inspire others, but that's the beauty of it. You know, you're doing stuff that is just fantastic and inspirational all in its own. Love to see people taking this risk and succeeding when they take risks. It's not easy to leave a full-time job with the benefits and salary and that come with it to go out on your own. I mean, if it were easy, I believe a lot more people would be doing it. Having a full-time job offers security that entrepreneurship doesn't. Now, that's not to say a full-time job is more secure, because we live in times where you can go in today and be told you no longer have a job. But it definitely traditionally has offered a security that entrepreneurship just doesn't. So I appreciate her story. I love
you know
her.
what stands out? Passion. She's not doing it just to make money. She's obviously doing it because she has a passion, and that's why she's succeeding, in my opinion.
You don't have to add in your opinion. We all know it's your opinion. It's you speaking. But anyway, no, she did mention passion earlier too. What she mentioned in the end, and I actually spoke about this on Facebook the other day, is you can have all the passion in the world. If you don't have the work ethic, then your passion's nothing but a failed dream. And so the amount of work that she's putting in that, let's not be blinded by just the passion. But the key is having a passion and a desire for what you're doing, and following up with the work that it takes to do it. On that note, it is time to say peace out to you all. So we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. Carla Zul, Jamal Hartman.